Today, a federal judge in New York heard arguments in the arrest and detention of Mahmoud Khalil, a legal permanent resident and prominent figure in pro-Palestinian demonstrations on the campus of Columbia University in New York. The Trump administration has claimed he is a national security threat. Now, we should note he has not been charged with any crime. Here was the scene in New York City where demonstrators came out in support of Khalil, who was arrested by federal immigration agents and sent to a detention facility in Louisiana, where he faces threats of deportation. Khalil's lawyers want him to be released from the Louisiana detention center and returned to New York for his immigration proceedings. A U.S. district judge did not immediately make a decision and said Khalil and his attorneys are entitled to one privileged call today and another tomorrow, meaning Khalil will remain detained in Louisiana for now. Also today, from Ireland, Secretary of State Marco Rubio rejected the notion that Mahmoud Khalil's federal court case is about First Amendment rights.
This is not about free speech. This is about people that don't have a right to be in the United States to begin with. No one has a right to a student visa. No one has a right to a green card, by the way. So when you apply for a student visa or any visa to enter the United States, we have a right to deny you for virtually any reason. But I think being a supporter of Hamas and coming into our universities and turning them upside down and being complicit in what are clearly crimes of vandalization, complicit in shutting down learning institutions. There are kids at these schools that can't go to class.
Joining me now, Loyola Law School professor and MSNBC columnist Jessica Levinson and Molly Jong-Fast, Vanity Fair special correspondent and MSNBC contributor. Professor Levinson, you heard the Secretary of State say this is not about free speech. Do you believe that this case is about free speech?
So I'm going to give you a law professor's answer, which is going to be annoying, I know, which is it depends on which frame a judge buys here. And we see this a lot. I teach the First Amendment. We see this a lot where there's somebody who is potentially charged with a crime or threatened with deportation, and they say, I'm being targeted based on what I said. And the government says, no, you're not. And look at this power I have in a federal statute. I have the power to say, and Secretary Rubio is correct, that green cards are a matter of administrative grace. It's a privilege. It's not a right. And the executive branch will argue, we're worried about national security here. And so what this really comes down to legally is which particular frame, which paradigm does a judge buy? Will the government come forward with, because they need to come forward with more particularized allegations here than just national security, leave it at that. Will the government be able to come forward with enough to convince a judge that they're not targeting Khalil based on what he said, but instead based on a risk that he poses?
Do you have a sense of where this is headed, Professor Levinson?
At this point, the initial discussion was really just about weedy jurisdictional issues. It was about venue. Should we have this particular case? Should it be in New Jersey or Louisiana or New York? And there was a discussion about phone calls. I will say, I think the judge will be amenable to Khalil's arguments here that because this is a little used statute and because at this point, I think the government's allegations are particularly general, I think the judge will certainly hear Khalil out, but I don't think anyone can predict exactly how it's going to go.
Molly, you interviewed Governor Kathy Hochul today for your podcast. What did she say about this?
Yeah, I mean, she said, what is he being charged with? Which is the question that all of us have, right? You cannot like the person, you cannot like their beliefs, but you can't, so far in this country, we don't pick up, people with green cards, put them on planes and put them in Louisiana, especially when they're married to American citizens who are 8 months pregnant. And it opens the door to the kind of stuff that we have not seen in a very long time in this country.
Stay on that point. If past is prologue, what does that tell us about the moment we find ourselves in?
Well, my grandfather, Howard Fast, who was put in prison for 3 months by the House on Un-American Activities by another Republican, McCarthy. The FBI, we have a lot, we have this conversation a lot about, is this who we are as a country? And we have many, many instances in this country of doing things that we are not proud of. And one of them was McCarthyism, where we put, artists and writers and educators and academics in jail because the government didn't like their beliefs and didn't like their speech, and so they ended up in jail. So I do think that there is there's precedent for this, but it's some of the darkest times in American life.
Professor Levinson, I've heard this referred to as many things: an opening gambit, a test run, a tipping point. When you step back and look at this as a greater question in the context of an administration that has told us where they are on immigration, that has purported to be protectors of free speech, but have been very clear that they do not mean free speech generally. They mean free speech for the people they believe deserve free speech. What do you think it is that they are testing here?
Well, I think they're testing exactly what we're seeing, which is how much pushback are they going to get from the judiciary when they are using a variety of different powers. Now, if I could just zoom out for a minute, I mean, this is the conversation we are having. How much power does the executive branch have to do X? In this case, X is the Secretary of State pointing to a federal statute that's not used very often, in picking somebody and saying, we have the right to revoke your green card status. We should be clear that this is a statute that is rarely used for this purpose. I'm not saying that means it's illegal. I'm saying that means that we should certainly be on alert. But more generally, we're seeing this in every area. A lot of times, many of the cases we've talked about over the last few weeks, now month plus since the inauguration, have been based on executive power. But I think what we're seeing in our country more generally is an executive that is willing to push the absolute legal boundaries of how much power they can use, and then seeing how much federal judges will push back. So yes, I think this is an opening salvo when it comes to this type of situation, but also much more broadly, it's executive branch versus judicial branch.